All right, everyone. So before I continue on, let me talk about what's going on lately in my life. So last week I got married, actually. So last Friday, been with the same girl, Leanne, for almost 12 years straight now, since early high school. So finally got married. I also got my engine back from the machine shop. Story about that right now. I have some pretty bad news about what I found out about it. I have the block here. He did hone everything out and clean up the cylinders for me. Everything measured true. It is 30 over. So that came out nice. There's nothing wrong with the block, luckily. So that's good right now. The thing that actually went wrong with the car was the crankshaft. I wasn't going to have this Magnaflux, but I'm glad I did, because as you could read right here, it says it's cracked, which is pretty crazy because this is a forged crankshaft. Must have seen some rough days of racing back in his life here. But yeah, there's a couple journals that are actually cracked, and I'm not gonna be able to show you on camera, but I know this is my crankshaft, and the engine machine shop that I go to is really good. And he actually showed me, using the Magnaflux that lights everything green, of where it's actually cracked. And it's right on the side right here, and I think on either this side or the other side there's another one. So I don't think I could salvage this. I looked up everything on crankshaft repair, and there's nothing, unfortunately, that I can see reliably that would repair these crankshafts. So that really sucks, to say the least, because I was just going to put AFR heads. This was the original plan, which I never told you guys yet. I was going to do AFR heads, do hydraulic cam, and then I think it was a 268H cam. Pretty, not nothing too crazy with it, and it should have been around, from all the research at the crank, it should have been high 300s, and a little bit more torque than that as well, that I was going for, and just rebuild the thing. But now, since I have a crankshaft that is cracked, the block is good, the block is numbers matching, everything is good with that. I'm thinking I might as well just do a 383 stroker with it, because I have to do a whole new rotating assembly anyway, and it's going to be money either way, so I might as well get a little bit more power out of it and just do a 383 stroker. I want to say it's Skipway Performance. They sell all these 383 stroker kits, and then I'll have them balance it, and hopefully within, I want to say 2 grams or even less than that, maybe a quarter of a gram. I forget the exact, for the balancing of it, for the race balancing that they go to. So I was going to pay for that. It'll be coming with all new rods and pistons. I want to stay around 9 to 5, 9.5 to 1 compression ratio, so I can run this on pump gas, and probably do a 5.7 rod. Still going to do AFR heads, I think. I'm not planning on rebuilding those other heads. I'm going to store them away, keep the original heads in the box. So, I have the original heads, but I'm going to do the calculations and all that, which will be down the road. But to stay to 9 to 5 to 1, I might have to go slightly dish with the pistons and then do 64cc chamber heads. And the reason why I'm doing 64cc chamber heads is thinking down the road, if I ever want to sell these heads and go back completely to stock, then I could do that. And then it seems like more people want the 64cc combustion chambers. The only thing I'm basically going to be reusing on this engine is going to be the block, and I think that's it, actually, just the block and, your oil pan and all that other stuff. And then the main caps, of course, I'm going to have to go through those and make sure those are, I don't know if I have to, see, this is where it gets confusing, because I'm not too sure if I have to have that line honed or whatever you call it with the main caps. I have to talk with the machinist about that as well, see what, that entails with the stock main caps. But that'll be down the road a little bit later. The camshaft, this is where I need you guys' opinions and thoughts and everything on. So the camshaft, for hydraulic camshaft, you have to break that in and everything. And it's nice because once the valves are set, you don't have to reset them. But it's kind of sketchy, because once you when you're breaking in the camshaft, there's a chance of it wiping a lobe or, something going wrong, and I don't want that to happen on initial breakup. Break-in. Now, to get around that, I was thinking going a roller camshaft, and that way you won't have to do that initial break-in process. And I know it's more money. That's the only thing why I'm still contemplating it, because it's way more money. I want to say it's like 800 and some versus 350 or something like that for the whole package. and I've never installed one of those before myself. I know it's probably not that much different than a hydraulic cam, but I do have to do my homework a little bit more and look into that. But I know I could have a little bit more peace of mind on initial startup with everything that I'm doing here. But yeah, that's where I'm at now. So here it is, the money pit. I knew something was gonna happen with it, but that's what happened. Of all things, I was most worried about the block being cracked or something like that. But I never would have thought a forged crankshaft would have been cracked in not only one but two spots. So enough for me talking now. Let's get on this engine bay. All right, so I got this one side, starting to clean this up. So I have to take the engine mounts out and clean the rest of that cross member up there. And then I have to move on to this side. I got underneath already on this, as well as the bottom of the core support. And under there as well, continued on the way back at the frame rail. You can see the before, pretty crusty. So yeah, you can see why it's important to put stuff down on the ground, because this stuff is messy. I don't get really any overspray anywhere as long as you're careful, but you might want to tape off the fenders of your car if you're not used to manipulating the wand, kind of like I am. I've used this stuff a couple other times before, so I know how it acts. And you can see why you definitely want to do this frame coating first, because it comes out of these holes, it seeps out, and that's kind of how you know that it's saturated in there. So I'll clean this up first before I apply another coat before I apply the Pour 15, and then start cleaning the rest of it up. Got to do the engine bay still. I had two different colors of internal frame rail coating. I had the green and I had the black. The black I just had one can of. This took about 2 cans actually of the internal frame rail coating, so it goes pretty fast. So buy more than you need to. But this is going to be seen here, so I decided to switch to the black on this part, recoat under here with the black, as well as get in there with the black as well. So this will all be covered, all this external stuff I'll be painting over, so I won't need to worry about that. But I already did the other side as well, coated that all in there, as well as right down in there. So that's all set. This whole frame rail just got to dry as well, so I'll let this sit overnight, and then, like I said, top coat and everything. Before, I think I mentioned in the last video, my main concern was not taking off this front area just because they painted over these seams and I didn't want the paint to crack. But one of the viewers mentioned through Instagram, messaged me and said that you could actually take these off and drop the old subframe, and everything should stay in place with the core support holding it up. So what I have to do now, just going to make sure I remember how all these shims and bushings go, and then I'm probably just going to hold up this steering linkage, put something across the fenders or something to hold it up so I don't have to disconnect the linkage any further, and then I could hopefully drop the subframe all together, pull it out, and then I'll start painting that. Goal today is to get this painted because it's getting pretty cold outside. So I want to get the subframe all coated, painted in Eastwood 2K ceramic chassis black, and then I'll move on to the engine bay area the next day after that. It's going to be in the 60s, and this is going to be basically the last day that I could start painting this stuff within the near future is what I could see on the forecast. So let's get started now and dropping this subframe out. So what's happening is this back subframe bolt, of course, is spinning, so the nut probably is welded under the carpet from the factory, and that probably broke free just from rust. So now I have to take the seat out, unfortunately, for that to get to the bolt or the nut to put a wrench on it and stop it from turning. So that's where we're at now, and update you here in a couple minutes.
I don't see it. That's great.
It's under here somewhere, probably.
No, this one, the board. It's right. It's over here, right? Right where this flashlight is. It's on that line.
Hold on, I can't see where that's at.
I'm hoping it's not up inside there.
Yeah. Thinking it probably is. Yep, it's underneath the...
Shit. Are you kidding me? Well...
let's just keep dropping it and see if it puts pressure on it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna have to do.
And just to explain what was going on with the seat deal, trying to pull that apart and finding that there was where the bolt was going through the subframe on the back, you could see what happens here. So these bend. There's a square little nut. So right underneath here, you can see it's moving around. And then this little thin piece of metal clamps over top of it and then holds it in place. So you can see that block right here, and it holds it from spinning. And this flips up if I was using it with an impact. And the back area, we got it off just by using leverage, which is was a major ordeal. But I was trying to get to it from in here, which these floor pans they look awesome. Sidetrack, sorry. But anyway, it's about right here. And so that what happened is this had to flip up, and we couldn't get that out. So I don't know what I'm going to do to repair that. I don't want to obviously drill a hole into this. I could re-weld it and stuff, but it's going to mess with the originality of these floors. So I have to figure out a little bit later on how I'm going to put that subframe back up. All right, so we got the subframe all prepped as best as we can. I know there is some pitting and stuff we can't get in there, but that's what this next step is going to take care of. I have it hanging from just the engine hoist and just some all thread, so it's actually pretty balanced on here, and I can turn it as necessary. And it's under my dad's one garage out here. So next step, gotta wipe it down with some rubbing alcohol and make sure everything is clean, blow it off. Then I will be able to apply the Eastwood rust encapsulator. I've never used this through a gun before, so we'll see how that goes. Gotta look up the tip size. I believe it's 1.5 for the tip size on that, but we'll see how it comes out. If not, I'll just use a foam brush to put it on, and then use the Eastwood 2K ceramic chassis black over top of that through a gun for sure. And I've sprayed the ceramic chassis black before, and it comes out really nice. Get started on that. Let's see how it turns out. I don't know how much filming I'll do because I'm using my phone and I don't want to get a lot of overspray on, but we'll see how much overspray is coming out. So here's step number one I'm putting on, this rust encapsulator. I am spraying this on, hopefully just one coat. And then another 6 to 8 hours later, I'll be doing the second step, the Eastwood 2K ceramic chassis black. Again, I've never sprayed this through a gun. It says you could use lacquer thinner up to 20% if you need to. I'm just gonna put this straight into the gun, see how it sprays, and then change my method if I need to, and use the lacquer thinner if it's coming out too thick. So we'll see. I mentioned this before, the gun I'm using is my go-to primer gun. I've just slapped on a 1.5 tip on this. It's the Air Gunsa, I believe it's pronounced. Made by Iwata. Very good gun. Gun pressure doesn't specify anywhere, but I'm gonna be trying to shoot it at 25 PSI at the gun. So my thoughts on using this Eastwood product. Again, I'm not sponsored by anyone. I just like to use Eastwood's products and other certain products. But this was the first time I used this rust encapsulator, and it's supposed to be a matte finish. And for how rough the frame was, let's see, there is still some pitting. This sealed it up super nice. So if it's as durable as everyone says it is, it came out super smooth. I'll put that 2K ceramic coating on this, and this frame will be set. I didn't have to reduce anything or thin anything out on this paint. This was strictly just dumping in a gun. 1.5 tip. Make sure you put it at about 25 PSI at the gun, and then you can go ham, spray and everything. Covered really well. I only used about a fifth of the container for this whole frame. I'm only doing one coat. That's all it says it needs, as long as you could do a second coat, but you have to wait an hour. That's all it looks like I actually need. If I was only using this, you don't have to top coat it, but I'm going to because of UV resistance and everything, to make sure everything is sealed up appropriately. So I'll use 2K ceramic chassis black in about 6 hours from right now, and then this subframe will be all done. It is 6 hours later. I am now able to add my top coat of choice, and what I'm choosing to put over that is called 2K ceramic chassis black. It's a 4-to-1. It's a catalyst you have to add to it to make it harden up. So you add 4 parts of the chassis black to 1 part of the activator. And how you do that, you just look on your mixing cup. So you can see 4, go down to where you want to mix up, probably put about 5 there, and then you match it up to the 1 on the top. So 5 and then 5. You add up the activator until it hits the 5 mark on that second column there. I'm not going to show you guys painting that because it's just going to be the same exact thing as what I've already done already, using the same gun with the same tip. I have this garage heating up in here, so because I have to have the surface temperature of the actual part 65, and it's definitely not 65 degrees out, so I have to heat up the garage to do that. But I will let you guys know how it turns out, obviously, when I'm done here, and show you the finished product.